This is a prayer for the fours who have already cried out to God twice today, who can write a lamentation so beautiful you'll mistake it for a love song. While most of us fold our sadness away in the bottom drawer, this is a prayer for the fours who frame their sadness in gold above the fireplace. This is a prayer for the romantics, the coffee shop poets and midnight philosophers, the ones for whom heartbreak is just another Tuesday. This is a prayer for the outcasts, the individualists, the paint-stained fingers in the cloudy skies, the ones who see the world through kaleidoscope eyes, the emotional storm chasers who can turn even the ugliest of gunpowder into fireworks. For the kids who never found a table they truly belonged at, so to this day they wander the world with a folding chair. Just because you can swim deeper than anyone you know doesn't mean you have to. The bottom of the ocean may be beautiful, but it's also lonely, and those aren't the synonyms you think they are. You have turned drowning into a graceful dance, made poems and stories from your pain, and turning dirt into something worth loving is a holy gift, reminiscent of the divine, but your painter's palette has just as much room for sunshine and joy as it does for thunderstorms and sorrow. Just because the raging sea was the first to understand you doesn't mean there's not a home here on dry land. We see you from the lighthouse. This prayer is your permission to scream. Ugly, cry until your throat is sore. Take the porcelain sadness off its pedestal and throw it against a wall. Let it pour out of you. Holding your breath is not an art form, it's a tragedy, and those aren't the synonyms you think they are. This is a prayer for the dandelion growing through the sidewalk, who never felt understood by the rest of the garden, so you learned how to make soil out of concrete. For all the kids who ever wondered if they came from another planet, who have walked through so many front doors but never fully unpacked their suitcase. You don't have to prove you are hungry enough to deserve a seat at the heavenly banquet. Creation is a feast. There is rich nutrition in the melancholy you fill your plate with, and your diet of nostalgia and despair gives you the vitamins you need to be there for people in their darkest hour. You don't fear the night, and what a blessing you are for that. But child, you have been neglecting the other end of the buffet. The chalice is overflowing, and there is jubilation enough for even you. Take a bite out of happiness and don't count the calories. Suffering is not a tax you have to pay before you're allowed to feel joy, before you're allowed to come home. This is a prayer of forgiveness for all the nights you spent holding vigil to your trauma instead of learning how to live again. It was not your fault, but when your pain demands you turn this graveyard into a home, it's time to move out. When the shame demands you swim even deeper, it's time to come up for air. You spend all of winter dancing in the snow, but your frostbite is not a conversation piece, it is a crisis. And those aren't the synonyms you think they are. You don't need to shine or bleed to be seen. You are seen. You are known even without your sequins and scars. Turning pain into beauty may be a miracle, but it is not a sacrament. Do you have any idea how ordinary a meal of bread and grape juice truly is? You are known. Even on the days when you feel like one of those words that has no direct English translation, God speaks every language, and you are loved in every alphabet. You are understood. There is a place for you in the tapestry of life, and maybe you're not like the other threads, but God is a seamstress who leaves no scraps on the table. You belong. We've been saving a seat for you this whole time. Take off your shoes. Hang up your coat. You are home.